Welcome, this is Scratch to Table with Trang. Today we are making Belgian waffle from scratch, and this will be the best you have ever tasted. Crunchy, not too sweet, and so delicious. What I like when I bake, I always like to use the digital scale. When you measure, it's more accurate than when you scoop, because everybody's heavy-handed on how they scoop in the flour and weighing it out. So digital scale is pretty inexpensive. You get a good one for $20. So when you first get your digital scale, before you weigh anything, you want to tear it out to make it come to 0. You can see here, there's the unit on this side. You can change it to gram. A lot of the recipe are in gram or ounces, so I'm going to do in gram today. So it's at gram. So when you have your digital scale, it starts at 0. And then you can take any measurement container you want. It could be a stainless steel bowl, a cup, but I'm gonna warm up the milk in this bowl so I can measure out. Once you place on the scale, it will weigh the weight of the container, so just hit the on and off button and we'll make it to come to 0. And now the recipe called for 90 milligrams of milk. So we want to measure the milk out to 90. So go slow. And then 90 it is. So 91. You just put a tad back. So now it's at 90. Now we're going to warm up the milk in this container about 30 seconds, because you want it to warm in order to activate the yeast. You don't want your milk to be too hot, otherwise the yeast will die. I have warmed up the milk for less than 30 seconds. It's not that much milk. You just want it to be warm. Pour it into a bowl. And then now you're going to add your sugar. It will be 9.5 grams of brown sugar. You can use any sugar you like, but I like brown sugar. So like I said, we're going to put it on the scale. 9.5 grams of sugar. 9 grams of sugar. The brown sugar. I like to stir it up, so that way the sugar will melt while the milk is still warm. And then now we can add the yeast. 6 grams of yeast. So we bring the scale back down to 0, and then 6 grams. So 1 teaspoon is 3 grams. So another teaspoon would be 6. Perfect. So stir it up just a little bit. So now we wait until it forms bubbles, and we know the yeast will be activated. Once you have let the yeast sit a little bit, you can use instant yeast too. So this batch of mine has instant yeast, so you won't see the foaming effect. But now you will add the 2 eggs. 2 medium egg is what I am using. Now we are going to add in the melted butter. 1 stick of butter. You buy a block of butter, comes in 4 sticks. 1 stick is half a cup. So I have melted and has cooled down. You can add the butter right in. Add in the vanilla. It is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I use a vanilla bean paste. You can use any vanilla you have, but the vanilla, the better your Belgian waffle would taste. So I would tear that off. 1 teaspoon is 4 grams of vanilla paste. So you don't want to put too much, otherwise you're going to get an aftertaste. So 3 grams and 4 grams. Just mix it all together. Mix the vanilla in there well before you add the flour, so all your flavor is incorporated. So all your flavor incorporated. Now you want to add the flour, which is 180 grams. If you see, I have measured out 1.5 cup of flour. See right here, 1.5 cup of flour. And then you can see right in here too, the screen is 1.5 cup of flour right here where the level is, and we will see how accurate this measuring cup is. So now you can see why it is good to always weigh it out. So we put the bowl back on with all the ingredients, we hit the on, so now it become a 0. See, it become 0. And now we're going to add the flour in. Flour is going to be 180 grams and 1.5 cup of flour. So pour it in slowly because you can take it out. So you see now it's 212. So I'm going to take some out because we only want 180 grams. It's always great to measure out. So you see now it's 180 grams. Let's see. For the flour, if you don't measure anything, don't weigh anything, I would definitely weigh out the flour and the sugar. So as you can see, when I weigh out the 1.5 cup of flour already, and I didn't even use, when I weigh out the scale, it's 180 grams. So yeah, I had all this flour left over. And if you use too much flour, then your dough will be tough. All the years of baking I've been doing, weighing out your flour, sugar, any product is the best way to go. Now you add the salt. You want to add the salt last because you don't want the salt will deactivate the yeast. So here, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which is 1.5 grams. So you can hit to 0, 100 or a 1/4 teaspoon, and just add the salt. Do is mix the dough together. So now we have our dough, and we're just going to let it rest. Now we are going to scrape the bowl, and we're going to let the dough rest until it double its size. Let the yeast do the work. So we're going to let the yeast do the work and let the dough rest. We're going to put a cloth over it. A cloth over this and put it into a warm spot, like inside your oven. You can heat up your oven at the lowest temperature for about 2 minutes, turn off the oven, then put your dough into the oven, and that will be your proofing oven. Half an hour later, we will unveil. Look at this dough, how much it has risen. And you see the scale is 706, so hit on again and it becomes 0. Sprinkle it on until it reaches 1 good. So 130 grams. And now all we have to do is fold in the dough. Look at how light that dough is. And the sugar is folded in. See how soft and pliable the dough is. Some of the recipe you see out there, the dough is really tough. So you want a soft dough. Look at that. Now we are ready to get a waffle iron. And let's make this. Now you see the dough has deflated, but the sugar is incorporated into the dough. So what I'm going to do now is let it sit for 15 minutes, let it rest. I have my waffle maker right here. This is the waffle maker. This is the waffle maker that is stand up. So it'll be interesting. See how it opens up? Be interesting to see how it will cook. Because it's one of those stand up waffle maker where you can pour the dough in on the top. Instead of medium high, I mean. For the number 1 to 5, I put number 3. And then I'm going to put butter on this. Make sure you put lots of butter so it doesn't stick. See how the butter is stripping down? So I think I'm gonna, because my waffle iron is upright, I'm just gonna put butter on the bottom, and then I'm gonna spray the top. 1 big scoop, and put it right in the middle. And we're gonna, and then we'll just wait 5 minutes is up. Now we take out our Belgian waffle. Look at that. That is so delicious. We're gonna pass. Look at that. Nice and golden. So just the right texture and everything. And we'll lift this up and we'll put it right over here. So on a wire rack, so that way the steam will escape and your waffle will be crispy. Take this out. Alright, our Belgian waffle is out, and look at this, how thick, caramelized it is. Now we're gonna have a taster today, and our taster name is Eric. This is the Belgian waffle, and we added fresh strawberry, blueberry, and whipped cream.
Looks delicious here. A little whipped cream. Wow, really good. Nice and crispy, not too sweet, and the strawberries are just perfect with it. Really good. Wow. I could eat this every morning. Delicious. Thank you for having me.